What if everything we learn in school is only part of the story? What if, scattered across the globe, are the remains of civilizations so advanced they completely shatter our understanding of the ancient world? They built monuments that rival our own, engineered cities in impossible places, and then they were gone. Today, we're journeying to the ruins of these magnificent empires. From jungle-swallowed temples to lost cities on the high plains, we are surrounded by the ghosts of forgotten worlds. These aren't just ruins, they're clues to a human story far stranger and more complex than we ever imagined. A story of genius, disaster, and mysteries that still have archaeologists scratching their heads. What happened to them? Where did they go? Let's peel back the layers of time and explore the stunning enigmas of our ancient past. The Maya, a collapse, written in stone and rain. Our first stop is the dense jungle of Central America, once home to one of the most brilliant civilizations of the ancient world, the Maya. For more than 1,000 years, from around 250 to 900 AD, they didn't just survive here, they thrived. They weren't a single empire, but a network of powerful city-states, each led by a divine king. What they accomplished was staggering. They developed the most advanced writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas, created an incredibly complex and precise calendar, and tracked the stars with breathtaking accuracy. Their cities were architectural marvels. Places like Tikal and Calakmul featured massive pyramids that shot through the jungle canopy and palaces covered in intricate art. They were mathematical geniuses, independently inventing the concept of zero. This wasn't just abstract knowledge. They used it to engineer a challenging jungle environment to support millions of people. And then, around 900 AD, it all fell apart. In the southern lowlands, the heart of their civilization, the great cities were abandoned. The grand monuments stopped, the dynasties vanished, and bustling urban centers were swallowed by the jungle. For centuries, this has been one of history's greatest questions. Why did the Maya civilization collapse? For years, theories included everything from constant warfare to disease. While historians agree that a combination of factors, including warfare and social upheaval, were at play, a powerful body of evidence points to a primary catalyst: severe climate change. Specifically, a series of long and brutal droughts. Imagine a society where the king's power is tied to his ability to talk to the gods and guarantee a good harvest. Now, imagine the rain just stops. Not for a year, but for decades. Studies of cave formations in Mexico have revealed a chilling climate record showing repeated multi-year droughts, including one that lasted a shocking 13 years. This lack of water would have caused widespread crop failure and famine. But the Maya might have accidentally made things worse. To build their limestone cities, they cleared huge areas of forest. This deforestation would have reduced humidity and rainfall, making the natural droughts even more severe in a vicious cycle. The Maya people themselves didn't vanish. Their political system collapsed, forcing a mass exodus from the southern cities. Today, more than 7 million of their descendants live in the region, a testament to their resilience. The real mystery isn't that the Maya disappeared, but how a civilization so brilliant could be brought to its knees by the one thing it couldn't control: the weather. It leaves you wondering, if they could fall, what about us? The Khmer Empire, the ghost city of 1 million people. From the jungles of the Americas, we're heading halfway across the world to another jungle in modern-day Cambodia. Here lie the spectacular ruins of Angkor, the capital of the mighty Khmer Empire. Between the 9th and 15th centuries, this civilization built some of the most awe-inspiring structures on Earth. At its peak, Angkor was the largest pre-industrial city in the world, with a population that some scholars estimate was as high as 700,000 to 900,000 people. Its heart was Angkor Wat, a colossal stone temple complex that is the largest religious monument on the planet. The Khmer were, above all else, masters of water. They constructed an incredibly complex network of canals, dikes, and massive reservoirs called barrays. This system was the empire's lifeblood. It allowed them to control the monsoon rains, store water for the dry season, and grow enough rice to feed their huge population. This wasn't just practical, it was a symbol of the king's power to tame nature itself. But just like the Maya, this incredible civilization faced a sudden decline. By the 15th century, Angkor was largely abandoned. The final blow came in 1431 when invaders sacked the city, but the truth is, the empire was already in deep trouble. So what happened? It seems the answer is a perfect storm of disasters. Like the Maya, the Khmer were victims of extreme climate change. The stable weather they had relied on for centuries turned wild. Tree ring data shows that prolonged, intense droughts were followed by violent monsoons. This one-two punch would have been devastating. The droughts would have destroyed crops, and the floods would have wrecked their canal systems, clogging them with silt from widespread deforestation. At the same time, the empire was facing enemies at its borders and a crisis of faith at home, as many people shifted from Hinduism to Theravada Buddhism. With failing infrastructure, a changing climate, and political instability, the Khmer Empire crumbled. The glorious city of Angkor was left to the jungle, a silent warning of how even the most advanced systems can be overwhelmed by forces beyond our control. The Indus Valley, the city of uniformity and silence. Next, we journey to the vast plains of Pakistan and Western India, to the banks of the Indus River. Here, over 4,500 years ago, at the same time the pyramids were being built in Egypt, another great civilization emerged. The Indus Valley, or Harappan civilization. It was one of the world's earliest urban cultures, and at its peak, it was the most widespread. What archaeologists found here was remarkable. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were marvels of urban planning. They were built on precise grid patterns with multi-story houses made of uniform, baked bricks. Amazingly, they featured the world's first known urban sanitation systems, with homes having private bathrooms connected to a sophisticated network of covered drains. The level of organization is stunning, right down to a standardized system of weights and measures used across their entire territory. But this uniformity is also part of the mystery. Unlike in Egypt or Mesopotamia, we find no grand palaces for kings, no monumental temples, and very few depictions of rulers. The cities seem surprisingly focused on public works, like granaries and the famous Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro. This has led some scholars to suggest their society was structured in a more egalitarian way, though this is still heavily debated. Yet, for all their organization, they remain silent. The biggest puzzle is their script. The Indus people had a complex writing system, but to this day, no one has been able to decipher it. Their thoughts, beliefs, and history are completely lost to us. Then, around 1900 BCE, the civilization began to decline. The great cities were gradually abandoned, and the urban way of life faded. Why? An old theory of invasion has been mostly discredited. Instead, evidence once again points toward climate change. Studies of Himalayan cave formations revealed that the region was hit by several severe droughts, each lasting for decades, starting around 4,200 years ago. This would have disrupted the river systems they depended on, forcing people to move to smaller farming villages. The civilization didn't collapse overnight, it slowly de-urbanized. But without their written records, we can only guess. The people of the Indus Valley built a world of incredible order, only to have their voices erased by time. Ancient Egypt, the puzzles within the pyramids. No civilization is more famous than ancient Egypt, a culture that lasted for over 3,000 years. We think we know them, pharaohs, mummies, hieroglyphs. But beneath the familiar stories lie mysteries that still stump archaeologists. These aren't about collapse, but about unexplained knowledge that seems way ahead of its time. Let's start with the pyramids of Giza. We know they were tombs built around 4,500 years ago, but how they built them is still fiercely debated. How did they quarry, transport and lift millions of stone blocks, some weighing dozens of tons, with such incredible precision? The mystery only deepens inside. In the Great Pyramid of Khufu, there are narrow shafts pointing out from the main chambers. Once thought to be for ventilation, we now know they align with certain stars, perhaps as pathways for the pharaoh's soul. In 2017, using cosmic ray imaging, scientists discovered a massive, previously unknown void inside the pyramid. A hidden chamber as long as the Grand Gallery, with no obvious tunnels leading to it. What was it for? Was it a structural feature to relieve weight, or a secret room sealed off by its builders? Then there's the Dendera light. In a temple crypt, reliefs depict figures holding what look uncannily like giant light bulbs, complete with a filament-like snake inside. This has fueled a fringe theory that the Egyptians had electricity. Mainstream Egyptologists explain it as a mythological scene depicting a snake emerging from a lotus flower, a classic creation symbol. Still, the resemblance is startling. And what about the Great Sphinx? It shows signs of significant water erosion at its base. Some geologists have put forward a minority view that this erosion could only be caused by thousands of years of rainfall, suggesting the Sphinx could be far older than the pyramids, maybe dating back to 7,000 BCE or earlier. Mainstream archaeology maintains the Sphinx was built around 2500 BCE, arguing the erosion was caused by a mix of wind, sand, and other factors. Even in the most studied civilization on Earth, there are secrets that refuse to be revealed. The Antikythera Mechanism, the ghost in the machine. Our final mystery isn't a city, but a single object so advanced it's been called the world's first analog computer. In 1901, sponge divers found a Roman-era shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera. Among the artifacts was a corroded lump of bronze. For decades, it was mostly ignored, but when scientists finally X-rayed it, they were stunned. Inside the shoebox-sized device was a system of at least 30 interlocking bronze gears of incredible complexity. Dating to around the 2nd century BCE, the Antikythera Mechanism was a sophisticated mechanical calculator. By turning a crank, you could predict the position of the sun and moon, track eclipses, and even follow the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. Nothing even close to this level of mechanical complexity would appear again for over 1,000 years. With the astronomical clocks of medieval Europe, the existence of this device completely shatters our idea of ancient technology. How did the Greeks, over 2,200 years ago, have the knowledge to build something like this? It shows a depth of astronomical and engineering understanding we simply didn't think they possessed. Yet, the questions just get deeper. Who built it? Was it a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, or are there others lost to the sea? Its very existence suggests a hidden history of ancient engineering, a level of technical skill that was almost entirely erased from the historical record. The Antikythera Mechanism is a ghost from a lost world of science, forcing us to ask, what other incredible inventions are still out there, waiting to rewrite history? From the shattered cities of the Maya to a clockwork computer from ancient Greece, the past is anything but settled. It's a landscape of profound and humbling mysteries. The stories of these lost civilizations aren't just about collapse. They're about human genius, resilience, and the awesome forces of nature and time. They built worlds that in some ways rivaled our own, only to see them fade into legend. These stories, are a powerful reminder that our own civilization isn't invincible, that our knowledge is far from complete, and that there are still secrets buried under the earth and at the bottom of the sea that could change everything. The search for answers is a search to understand ourselves, and the most exciting part is knowing that the next great discovery, the one that solves an ancient puzzle or reveals a brand new one, could be right around the corner. What lost civilization fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and as always, keep questioning.